Hello everybody, it's Maikito. Our baby's having a good day. Has had a good day so far. When it comes to tomorrow's slate, I believe it's Wednesday slate. There are plenty of games to go through. I went through, found some plays that I did like. Found a little more than I thought I would. If I do have any other plays, like I did in the last video, they will be in the pinned comment either later today or later tonight or tomorrow morning before the game start. Usually maybe an hour before the game start because I want to confirm lineups and stuff like that. I have a couple players that I'm thinking of, but I want to make sure the lineups are the way they are because I don't want to have any DMP plays. But like I said, I do have plays that I did like, so I'll just get straight into those. And the first one is Cashapp to go under 4.5 saves playing away from home for Wolverhampton, going up against Newcastle. He averages 2.77 saves, so he averages right under 3. We don't need him to get 5. So first of all, I already like that there. He has saved 56.2% of the shot on targets that he's faced, which is below average. He hasn't been playing good. He's gone down from 69.8% last season. He was a great keeper last season. He hasn't been doing as good this season. He's gone under this mark in his last 10 games straight and 13 games this season. He's only gone over this prop one time, and the only game he went under was against Manchester City, while the second most saves to opposing keepers. But now they're playing Newcastle, who actually allowed the sixth least amount of saves at 2.8. Newcastle is a good team, but the reason why they allow not that many saves is because they have a pretty good conversion rate when it comes to the shots on target that they take. They convert 37% of the shots on target that they take from 4.6 on target. So even if they manage to get those 5 on target, I see 1 or 2 going in because, like I said, 1, they have a good conversion rate. 2, Cashapp has not been doing good. And 3, Wolverhampton have conceded 22 goals in 10 away games. So matchup-wise and all across all assets of the board, it's just a good matchup in general. Besides, Newcastle are good at protecting the lead, while Wolverhampton are good at coming back from losing. So it's very much likely possibility that Newcastle scored the first goal. And from there, that just means Newcastle will defend while Wolverhampton will attack, which just means less shots on target for Newcastle, which means less saves for Cashapp to be able to take. He's not as good as he was last season. It's a good matchup, and I just think the line is too high here. So I like Cashapp to go under 4.5 saves. The next prop that I found that I like is Leandro Trossard to go under 0.5 goals and assists playing at home for Arsenal, going up against Tottenham. He's had 5 goals and assists in 20 games this season. 12 of them have been starts. 8 have been from outside the bench. He has been filling in as a starter since Saka's injury, but even then he hasn't been doing great. In the last 10 games, he's gone under this mark in 8 out of those 10. And the games in which he started, which has been those 12 games that he started, he's gone under this mark in 9 out of those 12 games. The 3 games, first of all, it's a 75% hit rate. And 2, the 3 games in which he did contribute a goal was against Ipswich, bad defense, West Ham, bad defense, Leicester, bad defense. All 3 of those are all bottom 5 defenses, the worst defense that you could possibly face. He's done good against them whenever he starts. So now they're playing Tottenham, who are actually a much better defensive side when they play away from home than home. When they played at home, they've conceded 21 goals in 11 games, so that's almost 2 goals a game. While away from home, they've conceded 9 and 9, so about 1 goal. And there's also a 50-50 chance that he gets subbed out. Some 50% of the chances he plays the full game. The other 50 he gets subbed around the 60 to 65 minute mark. So obviously it's even better for us if he gets subbed out. If he doesn't, then I'm not worried about that because he hasn't been doing great. Tottenham is a great defense. He's not a big game player, and at the end of the day, he hasn't been performing well. So I think it's a good mark to take here. Honestly, I like it. I like the gut call if you want to call it that. But I like this. I like Leandro Trossard to go under 0.5 goals and assists. The last play that I found that I like when it comes to player props so far is Daniel Munoz to go under 2 fouls playing away from home for Crystal Palace, going up against Leicester City. He's averaged 1.6 fouls per 90, and he's gone under this mark his last 7 out of 10 games. He already played in once this season, and he went under this mark with one. And at the end of the day, I feel like it's just one of those props where I do not see him getting 3. First of all, Leicester allowed the 9th least fouls drawn to opponent, so it's already a good matchup there. And the reason why they don't allow a lot of fouls drawn, like teams don't foul them, is because first of all, they don't play possession, and we could see that in the first game in which Palace and Leicester played. Palace on average are like a 50-50 possession side. Most of the time they actually give more possession to the opponents, but when they play Leicester, who don't play possession, Palace has 67% of the ball. Obviously, when a team has less of the ball, then the other team has less chance to be able to foul them. And even when Leicester do have the ball, they play they play in their own half. They're not as attacking when it comes to pressuring opponents. And when they do find opportunities, they send through balls or long balls. And that's good for us because opponents aren't going to foul other opponents from a long ball. They're really going to foul teams from who do a lot of through balls or a lot of dribblers and stuff like that. And Leicester, it's just not that team. They're not an aggressive team when they go out and attack. Both Palace and Leicester aren't an aggressive team. They're about a below average when it comes to the amount of fouls that they face. He's a tackler. His main way of defending is tackling, but he can't get those tackles if Leicester are playing in their own half and sending long balls. There's a reason why he went under last game. I just like this line and I like the matchup. So I like Daniel Munoz to go under 2 fouls. Before I get into the money line, if you guys could, like the video, comment as well. It helps boost the video out to more people, whether showing your support, asking questions about a line, asking questions about how things work in general. I read all the comments. I really do appreciate you guys commenting. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, turn on notifications when you notice so you get notified when these videos come out. And if you're not a member, do consider joining for those. 1, it's a great way to support the channel, and 2, you get the videos out early before they go out public. If you're not a member, people that are members already got these picks out before everybody else. These lines do tend to get bumped or taken away relatively soon sometimes when these lines come out, especially when I'm on a good run like this, and I'll explain that later on in the video. And then any picture you see on the screen from a dead out Outlier, link for that in the description. Same with all my player props apps and my moneyline apps, all linked in the description. So I really want to thank anybody who supports me in any way. But when it comes to Wednesday slate, I have one money line that I like. After last video, when it comes to money lines, didn't do great, but I'll just get into that later on. The reads were there, but this one, I just found this one that I like. No reason to overthink it. So I like the Atletico Madrid money line going up against Elche. This in Spain. Copa del Rey, you can currently get this for -170 on Fliff. Both teams are in good form, but I'll take in form Atletico Madrid side pretty much over any team in the world, let alone a second division side. I'll take them any day. Compared to a second division side. Atletico have won their last 14 games straight. They're on a great winning streak right now. And players that they use in this cup are either starters or good players, regardless whether they come off the bench. In the last game when they played in the cup, they started Griezmann, Alvarez, they started DePaul, they started Gallagher, and that's without counting the defenders. That's just the attackers and the midfielders. And even if they don't use those players that they can use that they didn't use in that game, that they could use off the bench. They still have Sorloth, they still have Correa, they still have Lino. I'm just trying to explain the amount of depth that they have. Even if they start a lot of their starters or even some of their bench players, their team is just going to be much better than this Elche side. And Elche, when they've played in their league, they've scored 1.3 goals on average and conceded 0.7 a game. So they're low scoring and they're also low conceding. They will struggle to score already against this Atletico's high quality team. And then when it comes to them defending Atletico, they're going to have even more trouble when it comes to being able to attack them. Atletico shouldn't have issue defending Elche, if not that much difficulty. But they should be pretty much on the front foot the whole game, and it's just going to be too much for this Elche side to handle. Atletico is good on set pieces, both attacking and defending. And I say that because Elche on average fouled the 9th most in their league at 13.5. And even then when they play bigger teams, they foul more. When I mean big teams, I mean like bigger teams / big games when they play tough opponents in their league. When they played in the Cup against Palmas, they fouled them 16 times. They played Racing Santander, who's I believe second place in their league, fouled them 15 times. They played Almeida, who I believe is first place in their league, and fouled them 22 times. So if they foul anywhere close to that, Atletico will get those set pieces, and they will take advantage of that as well. And already mentioned how Atletico is going to be on the front foot the whole time. So I just think it's going to be too much to handle. It's a really informed Atletico side. So I see them getting the win here and moving on to the next stage of the Cup. So I like the Atletico Madrid money line for -170 going up against Elche in Copa del Rey. Thank you everybody for watching. Quickly going over last video's picks. We swept the player props. We're 3-0 when it comes to those. I do need to check back, but if I'm not mistaken, that's 3 videos in a row now where I've swept the player props. So that's like maybe like a 7-0 run or something like that. We've been crushing those. We had 2 in the YouTube. Lucas Paqueta higher than 1.5 shots. That was the sweatiest one I think we've had in a long time. West Ham had 3 shots in general pretty much the whole game, Paqueta being one of them. And at pretty much the very end, last kick of the game, He managed to get a shot off. He came through for us, very, very sweaty, but regardless, he hit. Timo Werner under 4.5 saves. I did say Dortmund should go away, and that's exactly what happened. I believe he only ended with like 2 saves, sweat-free there. And then I had an added play on the other side for Dortmund and Mencha to go hard in 0.5 dribbles. He had one in the first half. They took it away, but even then he came through in the second half. I believe he ended with 2, so we swept those. Money lines, not so much. Man City money line, they were up 2-0, blew that lead, and they ended up tying the game. So I need to stop trusting this Manchester City side. They had the game, but they just did not defend Brentford right at the end. And then Leverkusen, I mentioned how if they were up 1-0, they wouldn't settle for a 1-0 and go for the second. They didn't. They went for the win, and the other keeper had I believe 7 or 8 saves, so he really saved them there. They should have scored that second. Both of those money line reads were there, but unfortunately couldn't come through. But player pop price, we're on a great run. We swept those, and hopefully we can carry on that momentum to both player props and money lines tomorrow. Like I mentioned, if I have any added plays, it will be in the pinned comment, and I have a free Discord, not a premium, linked in the description if you want to join that. Great community I'm trying to build. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.